Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Swing Batter. I am your host, Brendan. This is my brother, Todd, and that is my father, and we're about to go through another delicious contract. Dad, what do you have for us today in the Swing Batter Rolodex?
We've got a great player who got overpaid. That's the nature of our stories. But he was a great player. Josh Hamilton is who we're going to talk about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Josh Hamilton. I think he made tattoos in baseball popular.
No,
Could have.
he might have made tattoos popular for the whole world.
I remember him for that in his power. And I believe he played for Texas, if I remember correctly. He was a Ranger for a bit.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, Josh Hamilton started with the Cincinnati Reds. He played one season with them, and he was highly touted. I mean, in just 90 games, he hit 19 home runs, hit 292. But he had some personal issues. We'll just say that for now. He struggled with what I just call personal demons, and they traded him to the Rangers, which was mostly a mistake because Josh Hamilton cleaned his life up. He got sober, and he was everything for the Rangers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. He took them to 2 World Series, and he was the star of the team. In 2012, Josh hit 43 home runs with 128 RBIs, a 285 average. And if you watch the World Series, Josh Hamilton was the guy that no one could get out. He is so talented. Just an amazing guy having great years for the Texas Rangers. But then he became a free agent. And anytime somebody's a free agent, they're going to go where the dollars are, right?
And
What happened?
that usually means the dollars are where?
You can tell us, Todd.
There's only 3 teams that like to pay.
Anaheim Angels come a-calling because Jerry DiPoto's thinking to himself, I got to put somebody with Pujols and C.J. Wilson. And so he signed Hamilton after that performance, and he said, well, $125 million in 5 years. That's not bad. I'll do that. We'll give him a signing bonus of $10 million. So his average salary is $25 million. He signed through 2018. But listen to some of these features that were tacked onto the contract. I love this. He has a full no-trade clause. Complete full no-trade clause. He gets access to a luxury suite at the stadium. Those are big money. He gets $2 million that's donated on his behalf to charity. And it's all incentive laden. He's got an MVP, $500,000, World Series MVP, $100,000, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, League Championship Series, All-Star. He's just got all these incentives on this thing. And he's just, man, it really just an incentive laden, cash heavy, six-figure contract. Well, 9 figures. I'm just counting millions. So $125 million over 5 years. Huge money. Huge money for this guy.
I like the perks of the deal. I enjoy the suite, the charity numbers. I think there are a lot of things he negotiated in there that he was thinking about.
A little spice on that, baby, right? Just a little sprinkle.
I'm a big fan of the creative contract negotiations. I think there needs to be more of it in the world.
Yeah.
And I think it should go all the way down. So if you're a teacher and you're going to go to a school district, you say, hey, I have another school district that's really interested.
Yeah.
So how about you give $100 a month to a charity of my choice? How about you give me access to the teacher lounge?
Yep.
For me and my friends, my people, for this time to this time. I think there needs to be more of this. And in fact, I think there needs to be more agencies in the school district realm to steal and take teachers from one organization to another.
I had a good year last year. My students all got above 1,200 on the SATs.
Yeah, I mean, the club I hosted brought in so much dollars to the school district.
Right.
And Hamilton's doing all that. I mean, the other thing, if you look back at his Ranger years, this is obviously, these Ranger teams were exciting to play. They played in they kind of caught up Texas, and Texas got so close in that World Series. It was so depressing. So they,
and he
they
was
kind of
doing this after the steroid era because the steroid era was done by this point. He's putting up these numbers. This guy's a raw athlete, just a raw athlete.
Extremely talented. So he goes to the Angels, and right off the bat, Dad, what happens?
Well, his numbers dropped. He got in 151 games. His home runs went down to 21. His RBIs at 79. And his batting average, which was always, close to 300, suddenly became 250. So they didn't get their money's worth in year one. And in year two, he got hurt. And he only played in 89 games, only hit 10 homers. And he had to have surgery. So injured, not the production, surgery followed with another drug relapse post-surgery. So he kind of just fell off the table. He only gave the Angels those 2 years. And by then they realized that this was not going to work. Todd, what happened next after that?
Well, he was traded. I mean, and this is another situation, too, where you're signing a guy who's turning 32 years old. So injuries are going to impact him. And then, personal issues that he had that came up. So he's traded to Texas. Angels retain an undisclosed amount of salary. But later comes out that what they retained was somewhere in the realm of about $2.8 million per year. Is what they retained 2015, 16, and 17. However, his salary in 2015 to 17 was reduced by 13.33% to make up for the difference in the state income tax between California and Texas. Go Texas. So he's traded to Texas. LA retains part of that salary. In 15 and 16. And then Texas kind of picks up a base salary of $2 million.
Did he do anything in the trade? Did anything happen? I mean, was his career over after Anaheim? Is that just how the sad story ends?
Yeah, sad story, because in his 1 year that he was able to play for the Rangers, he only got in 50 games. He only had 8 homers. He was done. It was glory for 5 wonderful years with the Rangers, 2 World Series, an MVP, just absolute stardom. Went to the Angels and it started to fall apart, and then it was crumbled. And at the age of 34, he was done. It was all over for Josh.
One of the things this makes me think about, and just kind of thinking about this, is how you take in today's world, these guys are young and immature. Guys in their mid-20s and early 30s are still pretty immature. I'm saying that as a guy who's rounded second. So when you take a look at this and everything that they're offered in these big cities, all the money, the whole package. Yeah, I'm really shocked that anybody sustains a long career with any longevity and consistent performance with everything that gets thrown at these guys. Very few people are telling them no. In fact, I think you're hard-pressed to find anybody in these people's lives that are going to say no. They're afraid to say no. There's too much money to be made if you just say yes and stroke the guy's ego. And so a guy like Hamilton, he gets traded to Anaheim, near Party Central, doing your thing, and all of a sudden the career falls off the edge. It makes you admire kind of the guys that held it together and were able to keep a career going for a long time.
Right. In conclusion about the Angels, they gave him a 5-year contract and he played about 1.5 years for them. That's it.
Yeah.
I remember the glory years in Texas when they took such care of Josh Hamilton. I don't know if you remember this, but when they celebrated victories, no champagne allowed.
Right.
They didn't want him to touch champagne, even if it fell on him. So they had carbonated apple juice is what they had in the locker room when Josh was in there. They didn't want him anywhere near apple. They took such great care of him, and he did magnificently. He was a hero at the time. It's too bad it ended the way it did for him. But I like to remember the greatness of Josh Hamilton in being swing batter and looking at bad contracts, the villain in this story has to be the Angels, giving him all that money and only getting a year and a half of not much of a player. So I don't know if that makes him a villain, but it's a bad investment.
I have a question about these teams because it seems that some teams are more repetitive. I think there's an attitude that like an Angels organization has where they sign you to professional money. You need to be treated like a professional. We're not going to assist you anymore. Where other teams will have additional coaches, additional folks that are there to help you. Where there are some teams who are like, hey, we paid you. We got this lineup. We spent a lot of money on this team. You guys should all be professionals. You should know how to carry yourselves. I'm not saying that's the way the Angels are today or like the Mets organization or certain organizations that just kind of come to mind with some bad contracts is how did they treat these guys in the locker room? Was it any different from one season to the other? Or was it just the age-old question? Once you get into your 30s and you sign a brand new deal, you're just fighting the age. You're fighting the end time of your career. And so there you're running away from it, trying to live up to all these dollars, and it's difficult. And then injuries start to stack up and your recovery is longer. You're not 20 anymore. You can't just play 162 games if your body's hurting or ailing. And we have these contracts over and over again. And the theme of them is you sign in your 30s for a long period of time. And we have a lot of swing batter contracts that you can look at right now that are 10-year deals, 8-year deals of guys that are 31, 32, and they look good right now, 33, 34, and everyone says diet, nutrition, all this other stuff that we're doing. I don't doubt it. There's really good stuff out there, but at the end of the day, you're running from age.
Yep.
So I want to ask our subscribers, when Brendan described that situation, person in their 30s, long-term contract, and all of a sudden they're not playing like they used to, I know you've got names. Send them to us. We'll be happy to talk about it.
One interesting thing about this contract, at the time, the Angels ate $68 million for this guy to walk away, which was a record for the amount of money a team ate for somebody to walk away. $68 million.
To show you that you never know what's going to happen in the world, when he was the hero of Texas, became a free agent and went to the Angels, who are in the same division, the feeling in Texas is, oh no, our star is now with the enemy and they're going to take it to us. That didn't happen.
Yep.
Yeah, the other thing that I always laugh about when everyone's like, man, that's so much money. Just so everybody can calm down. These owners can pay that much money and it doesn't even impact them. They don't even feel it. So I never once say, oh, that poor owner had to shell out so much money. Never. Congratulations to Josh on getting the deal. Sorry about the career not working out the way you wanted when you signed the deal. But at the end of the day, I do not feel bad for the GM. I do not feel bad for the ownership group. I am all for chasing titles by paying players tons of money and giving us tons of options to talk about. So that is Josh Hamilton's episode. Josh, congratulations on the deal. We hope life is treating you wonderfully. We hope you're having a good old time. And again, from us to you as the host of Swing Batter, we look forward to your suggestions and your comments. We have lots more contracts to go over. Batter on. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome. Have a good one. Bye. Booyah. In the arms of an angel.